everyone here. Hopefully it's a short, quick agenda. And at this point, I'd welcome any comments from my co-chair or the ranking members, so feel free.
Good morning. Let's get to work.
Anyone else? Okay, if not, we're up to item 3 on the agenda, just concepts to be raised. At this point, I'd ask for a motion to raise items 1 through 14 under Roman numeral 3.
I'd make a motion that we take a look at items 1 through 14 under Roman numeral 3.
Senator Anwar, second.
Motion's been raised and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Please state your name and before you discuss.
Representative Joe Paletta. I just asked that before we ask any questions, items 2 and 5 be placed as a roll call vote.
Without objections, Mr. Clerk, make it so. So we would be entertaining a voice vote on, well, the clerk will announce which ones will be the voice vote. If you're okay, we'll do the voice vote first, and then we'll go back to the other 2 for the roll call.
We may have a couple questions on the voice vote, but we are okay with them on consent.
Appreciate it. All right, Mr. Clerk, please proceed with a voice vote on the items listed, except for the 2 that Representative Paletta wanted for a voice vote.
For both bills?
No, we're going to do a voice vote on all the bills except the 2 that Representative Paletta wishes a roll call vote on.
Got it. So
just announce the bills that we will be doing a voice vote on, please.
Okay. One moment.
Sure.
Just to clarify, the items that are on voice vote, we do have a couple of questions on. I don't know if you want to take those now.
Yeah,
And then you can actually withdraw the motion that you made, and I can make the motion for the ones that go, on consent if you want, or we can just take the questions and then do it your route.
I think we should take the questions first, and then you can list the items for voice vote.
Perfect. Thank you. I guess I'll start it off. I think Senator Ciccarella is on veterans as well. On item number 1, I see it says an act establishing the open choice vouchers pilot program. Is there anyone here that can provide me with some clarity as to whether or not there's a fiscal note involved with this?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. Thank you so much, Representative, for asking that question. This bill actually came through the committee last legislative session, and this pilot program was to use existing resources, and I'd ask that Senator Anwar chime in if I'm misstating anything in terms of information sharing. And we were trying to establish this program to enable certain families participating in the inter-district public school attendance program to move in the town where their children could attend school. So I think there is an existing fiscal note on this, but it is existing monies essentially will be moving around. But I could be sharing misinformation on this. Senator Anwar?
Mr. Chair, you're accurate.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you for that, Representative. And on number 5, actually, we're going to do a roll call on that. So,
do you have any questions?
Well, yes. So on number 5, I know we're going to do a roll call. So maybe we'll take it then when we do those in one by one.
Yeah, we should take the questions then at that time.
That's it for me for questions on the items on consent.
Any other questions or discussion?
I apologize. Were we on number 5?
No,
Sorry.
no problem. All right, seeing no other questions or discussion, just for clarity, can the clerk please list the items consent that we will be doing a voice vote on? I think it's everything in Roman numeral 3 except for numbers 2 and 5. Please list those bill numbers.
Yes, so for items on voice vote, we have an act establishing the open choice voucher pilot program, an act concerning payments in lieu of taxes to municipalities for housing authorities, an act requiring housing authorities to provide voter registration applications to tenants, an act concerning the permitting and safety of rental units, an act requiring landlords to notify tenants of foreclosure proceedings, an act concerning transparency of rental rates for tenants receiving rental assistance, an act concerning inspections of rental property prior to occupancy or termination late rental payments, an act concerning the risk of homelessness for those released from the custody of the Department of Corrections, an act streamlining housing authority application procedures, an act concerning bonds of board members and other employees of the Connecticut Housing Finance Authority, an act concerning mental health and housing, and an act concerning responding to COVID-19. For a voice vote, all those in favor?
Hold on.
Sure.
I just want to make it clear to the public and the new members of the committee, this is not to pass a bill. This is simply to raise a bill for discussion for the committee to bring it forward. Any late questions? I believe I saw Representative Johnson raise her hand.
I just wondered, did you do a roll call before I got on or?
Nope, no, they're all set.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, so on that consent, those items listed by the clerk are now deemed the consent calendar. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
All right, items passed. I'd like to bring up item number 2, which I believe is Senate Bill 110, if I'm correct, for discussion. This bill is going to have to be a roll call vote. So any questions or discussion?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very briefly, could someone provide us with some background on what this bill actually seeks to do in terms
Sure.
of the jurisdiction? Thank you.
Sure. Through you, Mr. Chair. Item number 2 on the agenda, that's Senate Bill 110, an act concerning housing authority jurisdiction, is essentially from our Fair Housing Working Group some years back. And this would offer or allow, rather, housing authorities to expand its operation, its jurisdiction by 15 miles to include certain high and very high opportunity areas as determined by the Department of Housing. This particular concept has come to this committee several sessions now in an effort to expand upon affordable housing in areas where there are opportunities. By way of just conversation I think we've had on this committee with respect to, the process of this type of development, et cetera, the concern has always been, the incoming housing authority, whether or not they have to go through the proper process of meeting with town officials, whether it's zoning commissions, et cetera. And the answer is yes. This is to at least start the conversation on addressing affordability or affordable housing in some neighborhoods where there aren't any. So again, that incoming housing authority, just for the sake of an example, would have to, complete applications, zoning applications, meet with town council and whomever else that would be responsible for managing
these types of developments. But just to give it a public hearing, I think you would probably learn just a little bit more on the importance of this concept.
Thank you, Rep. McGee. And just by way of another question, you mentioned something that was actually my next question. The local authority, you're saying, would have jurisdiction over, let's say there is a housing complex that was to be erected in a small town, like I represent a small town. They would have jurisdiction over, let's say, like, whether their water supply can handle it, whether their, electric grid, whether, the area is proper or not to place it. It wouldn't be like some state bureaucracy telling the town where they would put these units. And so it would be entirely up to the local zoning boards and permit process and building department, et cetera.
Absolutely.
So then what would, forgive me for asking, I mean, I know that this happens right now. What's the point of drafting the bill or hearing the bill?
So as it stands, we're having a very huge conversation on affordable housing throughout the state of Connecticut. And there are some towns, some municipalities that have not engaged in the conversation on housing or affordable housing. And so I think this would lay the groundwork for those opportunities to avail themselves. I am asking that at the very least, we create opportunities for municipalities and towns, small towns like yours, Representative, to really engage with other towns. If we're talking about regionalizing, if we're talking about providing access to affordable homes, I think it is our responsibility to at least, if I could use my own words, creating those opportunities for folk. And this would be a great way of doing so. And I know folks will have their concerns, which is fine. And I think the more we discuss this matter, the more we'll learn that, yeah, it's going to be a difficult conversation because, quite frankly, there are communities who don't want any affordable housing in their town. And I'm not saying that you're saying that. I'm just saying in general, there are folk. And the easiest, I think the easiest way of stopping this type of conversation is we hang our hats on sort of whether or not towns would have full autonomy to decide. And they should uphold their processes that they have in place on developing these types of projects. But unfortunately, we don't have a starting place. So it's almost like we put in these artificial barriers to developing affordable housing in what we are calling high and very high opportunity areas.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, is there presently a law that says that a certain percentage of housing in a town needs to be affordable?
There is, and I don't want to spend too much time during just raising the concept.
Sure.
I'd ask if you're okay with it, if we could really have this conversation during the public hearing and ask some of those folks who are coming to testify on the matter to do so. But yes, there are statutes on the books that require towns and municipalities to build a certain number of affordable housing. But in this case, you're also giving some of these smaller housing authorities an opportunity to diversify their revenue, and in addition to other, I think, items that we could discuss at a later time.
Thank you. You've been very helpful. Personally, I'll vote no to flag this, but I do appreciate the conversation, and I know it will most likely move forward, and we can ask our questions during the public hearing. But thank you so much for all your information.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions or discussion on item number 2, Senate Bill 110? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll? Remember, all legislators need to have their camera on and obviously their voice they're activated to cast.
For agenda item number 2, an act concerning housing authority jurisdiction. Representative McGee,
Yes.
Senator Lopes,
Yes.
Representative Smith,
Yes.
Senator Anwar,
Senator Anwar votes yes.
Representative Paletta,
Representative Paletta votes no.
Senator Chicarella,
Senator Chicarella votes no.
Representative Butler,
Representative Butler votes yes.
Representative De La Cruz, Representative Gonzalez,
Yes.
Representative Johnson.
Legislators, please state your name and then your vote, please.
Thank you.
Representative Johnson votes yes.
Representative Gonzalez vote yes.
Thank you.
And to fall in line with everybody else, I didn't do my job correctly. So Representative McGee also votes yes. So I just kind of want to make sure we're leading by example. Sorry, guys. Thanks, Rick.
Senator Kushner,
Senator Kushner votes yes.
Representative Sanchez,
Representative Sanchez votes yes.
Representative D'Amelio,
Representative D'Amelio votes yes.
Senator Winfield,
Senator Winfield in the affirmative.
Representative Zula,
Representative Zula votes no.
vote tally is 11 yes, 3 no's, and 1 absent not voting.
We'll hold these votes open until a time we specify later. All right.
Can't hold the votes open once it's been announced, once the tally has been announced. You could hold subsequent ones.
Okay. All right. So we've done what we've done. On to item number 5, I believe, which is House Bill 5122. Any discussion? Representative Paletta?
Yes, I guess I'll start it off. I know that it's Representative Chicarella may have also, or excuse me, Senator Chicarella may have a couple of questions. Yeah, could you just highlight this as to the important parts of it? I see, it's a little vague. Someone could just highlight it.
So what are your questions though? Do you want me to just read the purpose of it and then you ask questions, or?
Yeah,
so
I mean,
that
I
I'm
guess my
responding
first
to your
question,
directly.
my first question would be, that if a landlord, if someone's, is a landlord, I'm a landlord.
As well.
Does this bill in any way, shape, or form, I mean, would this prohibit you from screening someone that, let's just say, I mean, you had someone that was incarcerated living across the hall from a mom with a young child, and they had some sort of background. Does this at all prohibit you from screening them for the safety and well-being of the other tenants?
No, it does not prevent you from screening a prospective tenant. And just by way of information, this concept passed the committee once again last session, but it's seeking to do a few things. But one of the things that I kind of just want to hone in on is the fact that many of the crime categories that HUD, which is Housing Urban Development, they provide the types of crimes that would prevent anyone from living in apartments or units, et cetera. Again, I'm also a landlord, so I understand the concern and where you're coming from and others might be coming from. But I just think it's important that we all know we're not stripping the rights of a homeowner or a landlord to investigate a prospective tenant's background. I think the conversation landed on somewhere around the lines of 3 years look back period for misdemeanors, and I believe it was 7 for felonies. Those numbers may change. This bill usually ends up in the great committee of judiciary. But I just thought starting the conversation here in housing was extremely important. But some of those crimes, that you speak of, we have the mandatory HUD crimes. That's the lifetime sex offender registry, production, or manufacture of methamphetamine on premises of federally assisted housing units. You have crimes against persons that are prohibited, crimes against society that are prohibited, crimes against property that are prohibited, and multiple offenses. Once again, I could go into great detail, but for the sake of time of simply raising concepts, I'd ask that you reserve those questions and really bring those in during our time of public hearing.
Thank you. So the bill wouldn't protect against someone, let's say, that has a sexual offense or risk of injury to a minor. They wouldn't be covered under this bill. That you couldn't look into that and possibly have that bad actor living across the hall from a single mom with a child.
Correct.
So I apologize, just hopping. I have a quick question just to understand a little bit better. So, and again, I'm a landlord. I have an investigation company, and we do some screening for different companies and businesses. How would we be able to classify the offense and be able to only get the ones that are not restricted from being seen? I understand people make mistakes and come on bad luck, and they're able to move on, and that's all well and fine. But if we were to do I guess the first question is, how do you compartmentalize the type of crime?
I'm not following. I mean, I believe the crimes are already classified if they were convicted, right? And so if it falls in the lines of a 3-year look back period, if that's what this General Assembly, what we vote on, if it's a 3-year look back period on misdemeanor, 7 on felony, whatever falls into the categories that the court and HUD and everybody else have already prescribed for us, I'm not certain that we can just create, other categories, if that's what you're asking.
No, maybe I asked that wrong. So you said that the lifetime sex offender and crimes against people, and you list a bunch of those, and you said those are excluded
the
from
types.
HUD.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody did something 9 years ago, that was something that you wouldn't want the person around little kids, would we, as the public or the landlord or me as an investigator, be able to see that still? You can't just take just those crimes that are that you're classifying or HUD classifying, and take those away from all the other crimes, if it was just a fight or just drug possession, etc. How do you do that?
Yeah, I know for sure for some folks who have been accused of being a sex offender, etc. There is a registry, I believe, that's available in whatever town that person might reside or looking to reside. The fact of the matter, I think it's still readily available. If we agree that 3 years misdemeanor look back period, 7 felony look back period, I can't tell you about 9 years. But I also—
it wouldn't be relevant. I apologize. I guess I'm not asking the question correctly. So if somebody was a sex offender and they got out and the crime was 9 years ago,
again, the registry, I think, is available regardless, right? You can always look up.
Would we be able to say no, even though it's past the 7?
You can. And what we've also recommended in this bill, and again, I see, Senator, we're wrapping up now. We're going to be working through or working with the commission, CHRO, and if there is a concern that a landlord has, they will then serve as that entity that will help to ensure that landlords, private landlords in particular, aren't just denying people because of an assumption, because of what they think, and not what they actually know. And so it's more of a civil right. It's more of managing the process and ensuring that both the landlord and the tenant are having a fair chance at whatever decisions that they're making. So if it's a no, it's a no, and here's why. Once again, that prospective tenant will have an opportunity to work alongside CHRO as well as the landlord. Through you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, I just want to jump in here and remind everyone, once again, we're just raising this bill to bring it to discussion. The purpose of this meeting is to bring the bill forward so that we can bring experts in and ask
And to
questions
learn.
and have a hearing and feel our way through it. This for me absolutely includes input from people like you, Senator Ciccarello, who's an expert in this field, to let us know how we can craft this bill. It's very difficult to discuss and debate a bill that isn't written or discussed at this point. And I understand objecting to the concept of it sometimes, so that's why we have a couple questions. But the reality is we want you in as part of this to help craft this bill, to give your input, but we want to do that at the hearing stage and at the screening stage, not the point of a bill to rate down.
And Senator, if I may, once again, this bill has gone through many iterations, worked with a bunch of folks in the field on both sides of the aisle. And Senator, I know you might be new to the committee, and I underscore Senator Lope's comments and commitment to working with each other. I look forward to working with you to help add your voice and value your experience on this particular concept. But it's been around a little while now, and it has passed this committee. So again, I look forward to working with you to really look at each section as we continue to converse on the matter.
Look forward to that. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the committee? Seeing none, we're going to be doing a roll call vote on this bill. I would ask that we're going to hold the votes open until 2 o'clock, if that's okay with everybody. And in addition, please want to remind everybody, when you vote, your camera has to be on. You have to state your name and then your vote. So, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
On item number 5, an act concerning housing opportunities for justice impacted persons. Representative McGee.
Representative McGee, yes.
Senator Lopes.
Senator Lopes, yes.
Representative Smith.
Yes.
Senator Anwar.
No,
Senator Anwar
Mr.
votes
Clerk, go
yes.
back to Senator Representative Smith. He has to state his name and vote.
Representative Smith.
Representative Frank Smith votes yes.
Thank you. Senator Anwar.
Senator Anwar votes yes.
Representative Paletta.
You're on mute, Representative Paletta.
Representative Paletta votes no.
Senator Ciccarello.
Senator Ciccarello votes no.
Representative Butler.
Representative Butler votes yes.
Representative De La Cruz. Representative Gonzalez.
Representative Gonzalez, you're on mute.
I'm sorry. Representative Gonzalez vote yes.
Representative Johnson.
Representative Johnson votes yes.
Senator Kushner.
Senator Kushner votes yes.
Representative Sanchez.
Representative Sanchez votes yes.
Representative D'Amelio.
You're on route.
D'Amelio votes no.
I'm sorry, I didn't see you on camera.
Representative D'Amelio votes no.
Thank you. Senator Winfield.
If you're not currently voting, please mute yourself.
Senator Winfield in the affirmative.
Representative Zullo.
Representative Zullo votes no.
I'm sorry, I didn't see you on camera.
Try again. Sometimes you gotta wait till the voice kicks over. Representative Zullo votes no.
Thank you.
Okay, I believe that's everybody. We're moving on to Roman numeral 4, proposed bills to be voted to draft as committee bills. Items 1 through 6. Ask the ranking members if there's any objections to putting these on a consent voice vote. Please let me know now.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we do have some questions on number 4, and perhaps the other ones, but the only one that we should just take off with your purview would be number 4. Thank you.
I appreciate it. So I would open up discussions on items 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. If anyone wants to make any comments on them before we potentially put them on a consent calendar to make a voice vote on them. Are there any comments or questions about those items?
Sorry, Senator, could you have somebody make a motion?
Oh, my apologies. Can someone please make a motion to put items 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 of Roman numeral 4 on the consent calendar?
So moved. Senator Kushner.
Second, Representative Brandon McGee.
All right. Thank you. Any discussions on these 5 items?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, on number 5, proposed Senate Bill number 355, an act concerning a landlord's ability to review criminal records. I'm assuming this is something similar to what we just discussed with Representative McGee. But again, would this bill in any way, shape, or form prohibit a landlord from obtaining enough information from a prospective tenant so that he can protect his other tenants living in the building? Through you.
I do not believe so. I would, since we're just raising the bill and passing the bill, I would not let a bill like that go forward out of committee. So no, the answer is no.
Okay, but the only difference, just by way of clarification, is these are bills to be drafted, correct? They're not just concepts. So at this point, these bills will actually have language in them. So is anyone on the call that can explain what type of language will be put in this bill?
It's kind of a cart before the horse situation. I mean, once the language comes out, then it's a lot easier to discuss something about it. Until then, we're just discussing hypotheticals. Yeah.
Mr. Chair,
If
you don't,
similar in the past. Go ahead.
Sure, I don't mind. I think the difference between this particular bill and the bill that we just finished sort of having a conversation on is requesting that the Department of Housing consider this particular matter. A lot of what it's trying to achieve is similar in that it's going to have a look back period, but the goal is to create opportunities for this population to have access to housing. Through you, Mr. Chair.
Any further discussion?
Thank you. Yeah, I guess that was my point, was just the word limited criminal record look back. I think of things that happened more than 1 or 2 years ago can still be something of concern to somebody like me as a landlord. But I will vote to put this forward, to at least hear it and draft as a committee bill, and then we can take it from there. So thank you for your time.
No problem. I appreciate it. We understand how tough it is to get some of these clarified where we are now. Seeing other discussion or any other questions? Oh, any questions? Senator Winfield, you're on mute. Are you?
No, I don't. I think we're everybody's doing 2 things at once. So
okay.
He's not talking to us.
All right. On the consent calendar, once again, items 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Item passes. I'd like to bring forward item number 4, which is Senate Bill 194, an act establishing a right to housing. Is there any discussion on this item?
Yes, again, through you, Mr. Chair, just some brief questions. First, is there a fiscal note associated with this bill? The title is somewhat vague, an act establishing a right to housing. I would assume, and maybe I'm wrong, that the state would be providing some sort of assistance to someone who has a quote unquote right to housing.
As the concept currently is, I do not believe there is a fiscal note. Correct me if I'm wrong. So no, at this point, there's no fiscal note.
So no fiscal note on this moving forward. Okay. And then okay, I'll reserve the rest of my questions. That's fine for the hearing.
Okay. Any questions or comments on item number 4? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll. Again, have your camera on, state your name, and this vote will be held open till 2 o'clock.
On item number 4, Senate Bill 194, an act establishing a right to housing. Representative McGee,
Representative McGee, yes.
Senator Lopes,
Senator Lopes, yes.
Representative Smith,
Representative Smith votes yes.
Senator Anwar.
Senator Anwar votes yes.
Representative Paletta, Representative Paletta,
Oh, sorry. Representative Paletta votes yes.
Senator Ciccarella,
Senator Ciccarello votes yes.
Representative Butler,
Representative Butler votes yes.
Representative De La Cruz,
Yes.
Please state your name and then your vote.
Representative De La Cruz votes yes.
is your camera on, Representative?
Thought it was. It is. I might be in a bed. It's showing that I'm on.
Yeah, you're on.
Can you restate your vote, please?
Representative De La Cruz votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Gonzalez,
Representative Gonzalez vote yes.
Representative Johnson,
Representative Johnson votes yes.
Senator Kushner,
Senator Kushner votes yes.
Representative Sanchez,
Representative Sanchez votes yes.
Representative D'Amelio,
Representative D'Amelio votes yes.
Senator Winfield,
Senator Winfield in the affirmative.
Representative Zula.
Representative Zulo votes yes.
Okay, on to item number 5, proposed bills to be reserved for subject matter public hearing. It's only item 1, which is Senate Bill 86. I'll entertain any questions or comments about this bill.
Representative Butler, motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Representative McGee, so moved.
Item has been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion's approved. We'll hold this vote open, obviously, until 2 o'clock. Item number 6, proposed bill to be considered for change of reference. Only one item, item number 1, House Bill 5110, an act appropriating funds for housing resources for the homeless, to prevent homelessness. Is there a motion to make this change of reference?
Representative McGee, so moved.
I'm sorry, could you just clarify what committee you're referring to?
Question. To appropriations. Moved by, I think, Representative McGee. Is there a second?
Yes, Representative McGee, so moved.
Could I ask the question why this is going to appropriations before it goes to house, before it is heard through housing? Representative Johnson, sorry. Can you?
Yeah, yep, I can, if you don't mind, Mr. Chair. Again, Representative Johnson, during our last session, this came before the committee, ultimately being referred to appropriations because it had a fiscal note on it. And we wanted the subcommittee chairperson on approps who handles housing to be able to share and weigh in on that, which is why during screening, we thought it would be a better home.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The change of reference is approved. As I stated before, the open votes will be held open until 2 p.m. We're now on item number 7, which is Mr. Clerk, please do the announcement of time and date of the next meeting.
One moment.
You know, if I can help out, I do believe it's going to be February 11th at 11 a.m. I'm not sure which committee room it'll be in though. At this time, I would take a motion for, LCO, how do I hold for till 2 o'clock closing?
You would recess until 2 o'clock.
Okay, at this point, motion to recess till 2 o'clock. Someone,
So moved. Representative Sanchez, so moved.
is there a second?
A second.
For a second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Your recess till 2 p.m. for votes. Thank you very much for our first housing meeting. It went well enough. Have a good rest of the day. Thanks.
You too. Take care.
Mr. Clerk, this is Tony D'Amelio. I believe I missed vote number 1.
Hey, Alex. How's it going?
Good.
Yes,
How you doing,
hi.
sir?
So we'll start with Representative D'Amelio and then Representative De La Cruz.
I believe it was item 1, right?
Yes, the first vote was for an act concerning housing authority jurisdiction. How do you vote?
Representative D'Amelio votes yes.
Okay. I believe you're all set.
Thank you. Thanks, Alex.
And Representative De La Cruz?
Okay. Yes, on that one.
Yes, an act concerning a housing authority jurisdiction.
Yes.
And then for item number 5,
Oh, I don't have the agenda in front of me. Which one's that?
it is an act concerning housing opportunities for justice impacted persons.
Yes.
Great. I believe you're all set.
Representative De La Cruz, the last vote, if you could just state your name and then your vote, that would be helpful.
Last vote, yep. Representative De La Cruz is voting yes.
Thank you. And then the only other vote you missed was a voice vote for the other items in section 3, the concepts to be raised. Do you need me to read
Yes.
them off?
No, I think I actually caught the tail end of that, but yes. De La Cruz voting yes on that, Representative De La Cruz.
Great. You should be all set.
All right, thank you.
Hello, Alex, Representative Gonzalez. Did I miss any vote?
Representative, I believe you didn't have your camera on for our first roll call vote. If you could turn on your camera and let me know how you vote for agenda item number 2, an act concerning housing authority jurisdiction.
So was it yes? That you talking to me,
Yes.
Representative Gonzalez? Hello?
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
For item
Representative
number
Gonzalez,
2,
yes.
thank
I'm
you.
sorry, I'm having some problems.
That's fine. I have your vote recorded. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.